Please raise your hand. Good. Good. Thanks for your response. Thank you. So let's start with today's class. Yesterday we downloaded Eclipse and I'll name it as, okay, let me write it from first. I'll say we learned verification or assertion commands, store and echo commands. Okay, these are from Selenium IDE, and then we moved to configuration of Eclipse. Okay, uh, installation of Eclipse, which is nothing but downloading and extracting it. That is what we call as installation. And the most important thing which we saw were path and java underscore home variables to be set. Okay, so starting Eclipse and installing the test-ng plugin. Okay, creating our first project. These are the things which we saw yesterday. I mean, I may have missed some subtle things, but overall this is what we saw, the main concepts. Okay, test-ng, it stands for test next generation. Okay, it was inspired by JUnit and NUnit frameworks. Okay, NG stands for next generation. It is basically a unit testing framework through which we can execute test cases. Okay, now we were able to install this plugin by adding the repository in Eclipse. Okay, now let us get into our today's class. As I told yesterday, I wanted to display this architecture diagram. Anyway, this I got from seleniumhq.org itself. This depicts the Selenium RC architecture. Okay, by seeing this architecture diagram, you may remember what we did yesterday. Okay, and yes, I forgot to mention we executed the test case using, I'm sorry, not test case but test suite using Selenium standalone server. Okay, and it was executed through command prompt, right? Hope you will remember that yesterday we executed it through command prompt. Okay, and we saw the summary result which was generated. Correct, it was a lengthy command, but we were able to provide inputs for what is the browser it should use and what is the test suite which we were running and what was the result page which should get generated. So we saw that also. Now today we will get into test-ng and Eclipse. Okay, this is what the architecture diagram is. So we executed our commands through here from a command prompt, and it intern remote control server executed it through one of the browsers. Okay, that is how the code works. Anyway, this is an aerial view of the architecture. Okay, now let me close this and let us open the Eclipse. Hope you all have downloaded the Indigo version yesterday. How many people have downloaded it? Please raise your hand. Okay, good. Okay, okay, thanks for your response. Now, the Eclipse window. Yesterday we installed testng using install new software option under help menu. Okay, now this was the project we created. We created this project yesterday, and for creating this project, which means before going ahead with creating a project, we configured a workspace also. A workspace is nothing but all your project related resources, your code, everything will be stored inside that workspace. Okay, whatever we work on. So I gave you an idea to have it safe, because I told you to create your workspace inside Eclipse itself, because whenever we want to move this directory, we can easily zip this Eclipse only and we can move it. If you are having all the files, which means scattered in your my computer, like program codes are in C drive and your jar files and everything are in D drive and Eclipse is in another drive, it will get a bit difficult to move the code. Okay, you should be having a compact design for that. Now testng has been installed. So inside this project, what we have created, we are just browsing through the package explorer which we see here. By default, the JRE system library has been configured here. Okay, now there is only one folder called SRC which has been created. Yesterday I told you that we need to have jar files in place. Okay, we need to have jar libraries in place for our automation framework using testng. We tried to download two things. Okay, if you can remember it, we tried to download two things: testng 6.some version.jar and selenium-client drivers for Java programming. Okay, there was one more file we referred to, that is Selenium server. Okay, we did not try to download it, but it was present already. Okay, these three files has to be downloaded. Okay, these three files has to be downloaded. Now testng can be downloaded from this URL, whatever I'm typing right here. It can be downloaded from this URL. Let me just 1 second. And Selenium client drivers can be downloaded from seleniumhq.org website. Yesterday we saw these things, like I navigated to the website. Let me do the same thing now. seleniumhq.com, and I moved to downloads tab. Okay, now you are seeing there is a download link for 2.41.0 version for Java client driver. Okay, this has to be downloaded because the programming language which we are going to use is Java. Now all the files has been downloaded in my system and it is present right here. I have defined a specific folder for jar files. It is very necessary for us to have an organized folder structure. Okay, that is why I strongly advise on that. Now jar files, a specific folder has been created and I'm having all the three files which I need. Okay, this is the client driver from seleniumhq.org. This is the Selenium server standalone from seleniumhq.org, and this is the one which was downloaded from another website right here. Okay, it is a repository. It is a repository for TestNG framework. I'm opening that also in my browser to show you how it will look and what is the link which you need to click on exactly. Okay, now this is the link which you need to click to download testng.jar, binary download testng.jar. Okay, now let it be open. I'm coming back to the notepad. So Selenium server standalone -2.41.0. all the three files are here now, but only one modification I want to make is the client driver which I got downloaded from seleniumhq.org is a zip archive. Okay, and I'm in need of extracting a jar file from inside this archive. Let me do that. Okay, I will repeat the sentence again. The Selenium Java client driver used for Java programming in Selenium is downloaded as a zip archive. This is how you get it. Sure, Hernandez, I'll type it in the chat window or questions window. I hope everybody would have got it by now. Okay. Now, as I was explaining you, this is downloaded as a zip archive and I need a file, a single jar file from inside this archive. So let me get into this. Let me get into this archive, and here it is. This is the jar file which I need. Okay, this is the jar file which I need. Selenium-java-2.41.0.jar. Let me say right click and say extract to the specified folder. Okay, and I'm extracting to the specified folder inside jar files because this is where I'm keeping all my files. Let me say okay. Now it has been extracted. Let me verify it. Closing zip archive now. Okay, now you got that single jar file. Okay, let me move the archive to other folder to make these three things clear. Selenium Java client WebDriver, Selenium server standalone, and TestNG 6.8. Fine, we have all the three things ready. I am going back to Eclipse now. Okay, and I'm going to create one more directory. Called lib. Okay, let me right click this my first Selenium project and I'm going to say create directory, new folder. So the name of the folder will be lib. Okay, you may ask, somebody would have nailed it out and may have asked, like, you have all the jar files in place, why we need to create one more lib folder? There is an answer for that. I want to have jar files for each of these projects. Okay, this is a single project which was created in Eclipse. Okay, to move to this folder I want to go to Eclipse, and inside Java Workspace I'm having this project created. Okay, now The lib folder which we just created is displayed right here. Okay, is displayed right here. The lib folder which we created through Eclipse is displayed right here. I want my jar files. I want all the 3 jar files to be copied to this folder. Okay. This is some way of designing your project, like having all the files inside your project itself. Okay. I have just moved jar files into lib folder also. You can have all the files wherever you have downloaded and you can map it to Eclipse. But the thing which I am now advising is that having an organized folder structure. It may confuse you a little bit and it may look complex, but once you set up this practice, it will be very easy for us to remember and work on our automation framework. Okay. Now the lib folder which we created has been copied with all the 3 files. Okay. Now let me go back to Eclipse. I am getting back to Eclipse and I am going to refresh this directory. The moment I refresh this directory, I am able to see all the jar files have been copied here inside lib folder. Okay, inside lib folder all the jar files have been copied. Okay, next thing, I'll type out all the things which we are doing. Okay, installation of testng and creation of project. Okay, creating a folder named lib inside our first project. Okay, copying the 3 jar files into my lib folder. Okay, next thing is configuring the build path. There is something called build path. It is very essential for us to execute a test case. It is very essential for the Eclipse to execute a test case, the build path. Let us configure the build path. I am going to right click on my project, okay, and say build path. There is a menu item called build path and I am navigating to configure build path. Okay, anyway you are going to get these recorded webinars in place, but I advise you to take notes. Notes is always better than seeing as a recorded thing. Okay, because whenever you write it, it gets like written in your mind clearly. Okay, configure build path. I have clicked on that. This is a window which got opened right now. Properties for my Selenium project, my first Selenium project. Java build path has been selected because that is what we chose to do. I'm clicking on the libraries tab. I'm clicking on the libraries tab in Java build path. There are other libraries which are already configured. As I said, this is clearly visible in the package explorer also. Okay, but I don't want to care about it because these things will be referred by Java internally and it will be used for execution purpose and whatever Java may wish it for. Now I'm going to say add external jars, because whatever we are trying to do now is called as an external thing to Eclipse. So I'm going to click on add external jars. The moment I click on that button, I'm able to see a browse window. I'm directly navigating, I'm navigating to the folder where we created the lib. Okay, I'm navigating to the folder where I created the lib. Here it is. Inside lib, I'm having these 3 things. I'm just marking all these things, selecting all the 3 at once. Selecting all the 3 at once. This is the lib folder which you are seeing right now, and I'm going to click on open. The moment I say open, you may see 3 entries which has been added right here. Okay, and you are able to see what is the name of the jar and where does it belong to. Okay, once it is been added, I will click on OK. The moment I say OK, there is one more one more item which has been added called referenced libraries. Okay, referenced libraries has been added here with all the 3 jars. Fine. Now we are, let me say, all set to get our code into this place. We are all set to get our code into this place. Now let me see in Notepad if I want to type something. Okay, configuring build path is done, and next thing is, okay, there is one more thing to do. Create a package. Create a package inside src folder. A package is nothing but a group of class files. Okay, I'm going to right click on my src folder, click on new and say package. Okay, the name of my package will be package1. Whenever you start your names with a capital letter, Eclipse will always display a warning right here, discouraged package name, which means Eclipse follows a naming convention through which you can only start your name, file name or class name with a small letter. So I'm going to name my package as package1. Okay, package1. Click on finish. Voila, it has been created right now. Okay, once this package is created, let me create a class file. I'm right clicking on my package. Now this is the way of doing a Java development. Okay, one thing you have to remember is this is what actual Java developers will do when they try to develop a program or an application, let me say. Okay, so as I told you earlier in the first class, a testing activity, an automation testing activity is not actually a testing activity, it is a development activity. Okay, now right click on package1 and say new and say class. Okay, I'm going to click on class. Okay, the Java class window has been opened. I will say whatever the name, I'll say bookstore, because this is the website we use for recording purpose. So I'm naming my class file as bookstore. I'm not touching any other thing. I'll directly say finish. Once finish is clicked, I'm able to see a file called bookstore.java. Okay, bookstore.java, and in the right hand side you are able to see the code which is already present. Okay, they have just defined what package it belongs to and an empty class. Okay, an empty class with public identifier, public class bookstore. Okay, let me come back to Notepad and say create a package inside src folder, create a class file inside the package created. Fine. Is this clear so far? Can we move to the next step? Do I hear an S? I'm sorry, can you raise your hand? Good. 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 Okay, thanks for the response. Now let us move, or let us take the next step, getting our code from IDE to this Eclipse. We have already developed some scripts in Selenium IDE. I told you that is where our automation starts, step 1 of learning Selenium. From there, from there we are going to get our Java code. You may ask how, and let us see how. I'm closing my Chrome browser and I'm going to open my Firefox. The Firefox is getting opened. Okay, now I'm going to open the Selenium IDE using the keyboard shortcut. I always prefer keyboard shortcuts because it makes the work easy and fast. That is what developers will always do. Now you may also have some people will also have noticed it. Developer prefers always the keyboard, not the mouse. Okay. Now I'm going to just a thought. File, open test case. I'll say first I will open advanced search. First I will open advanced search. This is what the test case which we created. Okay, we need this code. We need this code to be transformed to a Java code. This is a code, as you may all know, this is a code written in Celinese. Okay, because these commands are Celinese commands. I want this code in Java format. To do that, you are going to say options, or let me say file, export test case, and say Java JUnit 4, or let me say testng. As we are going to use testng now, I'll go ahead with testng. You can also use JUnit in Selenium development, but testng is much more superior than JUnit. As I told you in Notepad, testng was inspired by JUnit unit testing framework. Okay, and it is superior than that. Now let me click on this menu option, Java testng remote control. The moment I chose that option, okay, I'm able to see a browse window. It just asks me, you chose to export a test case. Where exactly you want to export it? Fine. I'm going to give my Java file name now. Okay, I say advanced search. See the naming convention I use. Whenever I try to name a Java file, I'll always start with a small letter. Okay, and I'll put a quotes and say .java. These are not already given from Selenium IDE, which means it is not naming the Java file. It is not naming this file as a Java. So I'm doing it manually. That is why you see a double quotes and a .java. Let me say save. I have saved it. What happened now? I want to verify it. So I'm getting back to my folder. And there is a Java file which is created. Let me right click this and say edit with Notepad++. Okay, I always use Notepad++. Now we chose to export this test case from Selenium IDE. Now Selenium IDE has given us the exact code for Java development. It is able to format what we have written as Selenium script into a JavaScript. Okay, right now you are seeing both the scripts in my laptop. You may also match line by line. Okay, each line has a corresponding Java line which is written here. Okay, so the exact code from IDE is exported, or let me say formatted as Java.java. this Selenium IDE is able to do by these formats. Okay, I just chose options from Selenium options menu. Okay, you are having multiple formats right here. Okay, using this formats, Selenium IDE is able to format our code.